we are going to finish up section 2.1, and the next page of the notes has some qualitative frequency displays. Bar graphs are pretty common, and they have a qualitative designation usually at the bottom as the horizontal axis, and then the vertical axis is representative of the frequency. So, like, if you ask people, what's your favorite type of cookie? And then you'd have one label for chocolate chip, it would have a frequency of 250, oatmeal raisin 100, and so on. So the size of the bar itself corresponds to the frequency, the size of the frequency. Now, another type of bar graph is called a cluster bar graph, and cluster bar graphs are for when you have multiple subcategories. So you have like one set of categories, and then within each of those categories, subcategories, you'd have one or two or three subcategories within that one category. Now, we're going to use Excel for our visual displays. You can do this by hand, and a lot of time in the homework, you'll just look at the display itself. It'll create it, and then you have to choose which one is the correct one. Look at the frequencies, make sure that they match, and then choose the correct display. You could also copy and paste it into Excel and make the display and then compare it that way. But sometimes it's just as easy just to read the table and compare it to the graph itself. So we are going to switch over. There's another example here. This is a pie chart, and I'll make a pie chart. It's really similar, except now it's using the relative frequency. The larger the wedge, the higher the frequency. But we'll do both of those on Excel. Okay, so here's the data. And I want to show you a tool that's pretty cool. Especially if you don't know how to start making your visual display or your data visualization. Go to Insert, and then this Recommended Charts. This is the tool. Once you have it selected, so A1 to C6, select that Recommended Charts. And then typically the thing that you want, or something similar to what you want, will be here. And this one right here, clustered column, this is exactly what I want to make for this one. So here's what it looks like. And you could add a chart title. I usually just get rid of it. If you want to add like labels for your axes, which is a good idea, in this chart design, it automatically goes there when you first create it. But if it's not there, you might have to choose that option and then add chart element and axis titles. Can add both of those here, and there's different ways that you can make this look. This is the life expectancy, and I'll put years there as well. And then this is for the decade born. That doesn't need units. It's just 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, and 2010s. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. It has a key down here. The blue is for male. Orange is for female. And it looks like it's increasing by decade. But yeah, there it is. Okay, now the next one is the pie chart, and I'm just going to show you in Excel how to do this pretty quickly. I'm going to highlight all the stuff that they give us here. People voted for their favorite Powerpuff Girl, Blossom Butters, or not Butters, Blossom Bubbles and Buttercup. insert, and then you can do recommended charts as well. This one is the one that we want. The pie charts right here though, this one here, you want to use the flat ones. This one's a good one. This was labeled well already. In the chart design, there's like automatic designs that come up here. So if you want to change the way that things look, you can choose one of these. You can also change individual things. Just going to choose this one because it has those labels for the relative frequencies: 42%, 24%, 34%. We're not going to be learning about like graphic design. That's not that's not even close to a learning outcome of this course. But if you want to play around with it, you can change things around. Usually my go-to is I just right click and then choose format chart area here, and it gives you options of things that you can change with this. I'm not going to change anything, but you can play around with it if you're interested. Different fields have different ways of formatting charts. I was a chemistry major, and there was a specific way that we had to lay out. It wasn't normally pie charts, but like line graphs and bar charts, there was a specific way to lay those out. So it's different for each field. Usually in a class, in the specific field, you'll learn the specifics of how to make your graphics. I'm trying to remember the name of that course. Research methods, I think it was, for chemistry. But a lot of different fields have research methods courses, and they usually go through stuff like that, the visualizations. Okay, so let's go back to the notes here. And we just created that one. So let's look at this one. So I want to show you a couple of things that we can do if we're given a pie chart to answer some questions. So it says there were 25 donors, and they're displaying the percentage of those donors here. So it looks like type O. What's the most common? Type O is the most common, has the highest relative frequency. It has the largest wedge. So this one would be type O. Part B asks how many people had type A blood. Because they're giving us the sample size that this came from, we can take that sample size, 25, and multiply by the relative frequency here, the 28%. Multiply as a decimal number though, 0.28. We multiply those two together and it gives us 7. So 7 of the donors had type A blood.